ride and a talk with you all. Got Tender Loving Care is got TLC. I hope that you are doing all well and fantastic out here in the world. I don't know if this situation, if this vehicle in front of me is learning how to train, but everyone is driving so recklessly. Remember, when you're on the road, have some patience. All day today, everyone's been driving very recklessly. And there's an interesting fact that I learned is that it's much harder in some countries in Europe to get your license. Their accident rates are much lower than in the United States. And maybe that is true. Maybe it is true that getting your license in the United States is just too easy. Now, I do have an interesting story here. I'm a very safe driver. I'd say that if I ever won the lottery, I would consider training and teaching and creating my own tips and strategies. And I really enjoyed my time as a student. Right now, I've been driving now for over a decade, a long, long time, probably over 20 years. Professional driving and driving for work, pastime. I am interested in different vehicles as well, different cars. And something that I've noticed is that there's something in driving that translates to every culture, and that is safe driving. I think that we all can agree that there's no excuse for bad driving. There's no excuse for drinking and driving. And when I say drinking and driving, don't be stupid. As when I presented this, people have said, oh, well, you can't drink water. No, of course you can. I'm talking about alcohol. And it's usually the people who are the alcoholics and drunks who try to make up excuses for people who drink intoxicated. And there's no reason and excuse for that. That will never, ever be tolerated. I've been in situations where I myself have had to rescue people who have done that petty, disgusting shit. And I myself have never and will never. It is unexcusable. So, in driving, if you have ever drank and driven, you should be ashamed of yourself. If you know someone who does that, you need to report that right away. And I understand that you may not want to. It may be a loved one, a friend, or family. But you need to also consider that you cannot enable those bad behaviors. Drinking alcohol, getting behind the wheel, driving is one of the worst things you can do. Not only for yourself, for your family, for the community, for the kids around the community. There's been too many accidents, and we will not tolerate that any longer. If you know anyone who does that, please report them. Don't feel any shame or guilt about it. All right, so getting on to what we work on here at Got Tender Loving Care is education. I want to assure you all that wherever you are in the world, education should be accessible. Education should be free. And I'm doing my research and haven't come across any locations where that is not the case. But education is a pillar of our society. Now, while that varies from schooling, that's a completely different conversation. And, I made it to my destination safe. But I have seen a lot more increases in drinking, alcohol, driving, accidents, and there's just no excuse for that at all. I look at the rates of those crimes all across the United States, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin is rock bottom. I mean, they have really hit rock bottom. That state, they celebrate drinking, they celebrate alcohol, they celebrate drugs, they celebrate cigarettes, they celebrate drugs. And that place, the crime rates are one of the worst in the country. That's why Wisconsin is one of the worst and most racist places in the United States of America. They've even named their baseball team the Drunks and Alcoholics. There's no excuse for that. In the Quran, and I'm not sharing with you any ideology or another, but in the Quran, which is the next book after the Holy Bible, they even mention that alcohol is the mother of sin. So I hope that wherever you are, you don't have to face or encounter or put up with alcoholics and drugs. Now, I know this family who thinks that they're better off than everyone else. There's this white family, and They look down on people of color, especially Latinos. And there's another black family who does the same thing. Um, those families are getting reamed by God. They're getting reamed karmically. And they try to put my nucleus, my family down because we don't tolerate that. We own properties all around the world, and if you ever want to rent from us, you can't do that stuff there. If you have a record, we will not rent to you. We will not do business with you. If you have a record, we will not even look at your application further than that. That is an automatic disqualifier. And I know this one lady who is an enabler to her son. He robs from her. He doesn't pay rent. Her son breaks the house. And unfortunately, this is at one of our residences. We hear about it through the grapevine because we own the property. The person's been to jail multiple occasions, has crimes on his record. And his mother, who my nucleus is close with, my wife is close to, who we actually rent from because that person isn't on the contract, but she's the biggest enabler. And she has broken the code of honor and made too many excuses for that person. And then she calls us and blames the entire world falling down and her not having opportunity and her life being shambles. And then she is a closeted drunk and alcoholic and a cigarette smoker and does drugs. And that same person got her eye torn apart, her entire mouth bashed, her entire face bashed, because she decided to neglect her children and go do drugs with her neighbors. She wants to flaunt around and say she did a semester or two in the military, and then she comes back and, does this abhorrible behavior. It's not tolerable, no matter what you are. She convinced a lot of people that she's this up and noble person. But when it comes down to what are you doing now, what have you done for the past 10 years, what have you done for the past 20 years, you've been nothing but a drunken alcoholic and degenerate to society. Thank you for your 2 semesters of service inside of the Army. Given that you weren't given much choice, so either that or you go work at the local gas station down the street. And she wants to enable her son to be an alcoholic, and that's just not good. So whenever my family received backlash from them because, hey, we have to increase the rent. Hey, we're going to audit the house and check for inspections because we know that you all break things there and destroy. Hey, we're going to have to sell the house now. We don't want to do business with you anymore. That, when those opportunities come about, I'm just celebratory because I've dealt with this for too long and I no longer want to put up with it. I no longer want to put up with those people. The same thing about, Milwaukee's north side is completely shambles. Milwaukee, Wisconsin north side is complete garbage. Crime infested, and the entire state of Wisconsin, especially the Milwaukee City area, and Milwaukee spans like so many districts and so many counties that the segregation is the norm there. I myself come from a diverse background. I have family from all over the world, every single continent, every single quote-unquote race and ethnicity. And we're very multicultural, very multiracial, very multilingual. So to live somewhere like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and thank God, tender loving care that we no longer live there, was just a torture. It was crabs in a bucket. Anytime you would succeed, even just a little bit, they would try to tear you down as much as they could in very vicious ways. So if you live in that area, I would suggest you move out, check out other places, especially if you're someone who believes in family, if you believe in love, if you believe in education and safety. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is not a good place at all. In the Bhagavad Gita, which is another holy book, and I'm not sharing holy books just to propagate. I'm sharing them because I read every single holy book and I pick out the best parts. That place would be described as Asura, or in the Bible, it would be described as Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember that place where sin ran rampant? Yeah, that's Wisconsin. That's Milwaukee. And the outskirts and Bayview, you see a bar, and then you see a pub, and then you see a strip club, and then you see a church. And people do those things in probably, similar order. They go to the bars, pubs, strip club, and then they go try to repent their sins at the local church down the street. And then that's just not a very good culture. So we're here at God Tender Loving Care just to report to you the good, the bad, the ugly. We believe that everyone should have opportunity, but again, opportunity is earned. You have to be a good person, standing, upholding citizen, and someone who walks the talk. You know, just because you did some things a few years ago doesn't mean that it's going to carry over. I do not believe in seniority, but I do believe in respect. So with that being said, everyone, thank you for joining today. Got Tender Love and Care. This is just a quick chat. Feel free to share this with anyone you think who needs to hear this. Maybe you want to share this with someone who you might be scared of, who you don't want to confront and tell, hey, you know, you have to stop those ways. You have to stop being an alcoholic. You have to stop being a drunk. You have to stop being a drug addict. You have to stop, you know, being a scoundrel. Maybe you share this with them and let them know anonymously, or tell them, hey, you know, I came across this video. What do you think? And you don't even have to tell them that it's because they need to hear these words. This is for anyone who needs to hear those words. You know, I was just on a professional meeting, testing out an app, and there's a conversation in the chat in the app, and you can probably check those in the archives. Let me know if you want me to direct you to those specifically, but you know, you can look around in our channel. And someone was talking about smoking, and I was like, why is this the conversation now? And someone said, yeah, smoking is a monster, and not many people have the mental fortitude or mentally strong to not do that. Don't do that. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. Learn education. And even if you're not in school, work, and attend every professional development meeting. All right, everyone, got tender love and care. We made it safe to our destination, but I am very upset with the current situation here in the United States, where enabling has become a norm of drugs, alcohol, sin. No good.